Okay, greetings, greetings. Can you hear me? Kofi, thank you for joining. And thank you for all of you that are spontaneously joining. I had to come up swiftly just to kind of like get in touch with you and give up some breaking update. Can you hear me loudly? Can you hear me? Good morning from the USA. Thank you so much, Kofi. Kojo, am I loud enough? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Kofi. I mean, Kojo. All right, Mr. Clay said they can hear us very well. I have some very breaking news that is coming up, and that's why I come on unannounced, because first, that's the motto. We're coming this time unannounced, okay? There's been so much infiltrators. There've been so much blah, 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 blah. So yes, this time we come unannounced. So I want to thank you, and also to really find out those who subscribe on the show, because when you're subscribed, that's how you get a notification when I go live. So if you haven't done that, make sure you are doing that right away. Thank you so much, Kofi. There's been a lot going on the continent and in the diaspora, and I thought it was very, very wise, before we start going back live on the Pan-African Daily, to just bring some of this breaking news and updates to you, so that we prepare ourselves psychologically when our guests would start joining us here in the studio. As you all know, I've been on the continent for 4 months, and there's been a lot to talk about, a lot of experience, a lot of stories. Yeah, just a lot to empower us. Okay, to educate, inform, empower, and evolve all of us together. Thank you so much, Leah Smith, Mr. Clay, Kojo, Kofi, Bloodline. I mean, I see all of you. Sufficient, Sufficient, City, Snovia. Boy, I can imagine all of you that I'm seeing right here. It's just that, as you can see, we're getting a new studio all the time. We're always getting something new on the Pan-African Daily. You know why? Because I just traveled, as you know, most of my tribe. I mean, my girl group, or the women's group, they know that, and I lost my baggage. up to now, it's been 10 days. And so the other studio, the moving studio that I rotate with it, is all stuck somewhere in Istanbul, Turkey. And that's also one of the breaking things that we'll be talking about, that you share your experiences with us, those of you who have been traveling through Turkish Airlines over Istanbul. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. You know, a lot of people get stuck for one reason or the other. And those are some of the things that I would like us to share and to advise and to encourage our people who are traveling to pay attention to some very, very important details, right? Like I said, I mean, I haven't had my luggage is just left me at the airport, right? And it's been 10 days, 11 days since I'm back. And so my microphones, videos, every documentaries that I did on the continent, powerful ones to share with you. Everything seems like just gone. And I don't think it's normal. It's not normal. We are under the loop every way, every day. And yeah, the system knows us already. We're part of the system. They know us, they recognize us. And yeah, they draw so much attention on us, right? Because I can barely tell you, Pan-African Daily TV is not it's not just a social media platform where people. This is a Kemet University, as you all have been calling it from the beginning, and we've seen powerful, powerful professors come here, academians, experts, voices, and the community. The family that is here is big. It's too big to handle, right? And so yeah, so don't think too small about yourself. Do not. The being here on the Pan-African Daily, sometimes you think, oh, I'm just here spending time like Snovia. Yeah, I'm just connecting with the brothers. It's more than that. I mean, I felt it. I felt the vibes. I felt the absence, particularly when I go away. That's when I begin to really understand the impact that we all are creating and changing and building the Africa that we want on Pan African Daily. Honestly speaking, and so yes, thank you. I'm so also happy to see you here and to get connected also to the family here. Thank you so much, Kofi. You're asking people to subscribe, to click, but you know what? The moment we hit 100,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, YouTube just on disabled the button for subscription. So we would have been hitting 150 right now since week. So yes, um, we're trying. We're trying all we can with Patrick Kasarim to find out what are the abuses or the community standards that they say we're breaking, so we can begin again to yes, to get its subscribers. It's a movement, sister. It's a big one. It's a big one. And so things like this don't happen to any other platform. So if you're just on your platforms and entertaining and stuff, that's good to go. Or just sharing some facilitating narratives of your colonizers or enslavers, they would give you million views and give you everything that you need. But if that's what you're doing, as serving your community and your people, I don't know about that, right? So yes, could be envy, could be anything, could be just the fact that we're growing really, really deeper into the knowledge about ourselves. Could also be that you know, people, the whole world, the system likes to own the stories of Africa. That's just one thing that I've been thinking. Mr. Clay, thank you. Yes, it's envy. That's also, it's everything packaged together, honestly. But like I said, um, yes, regardless, the new normal, the new normal is that the non-Africans are beginning to gain more knowledge of Africans from Africans, and then they want to own it, just like every other thing, just like your copyrights, your books, your history, your knowledge. It's been owned from generation to generation. So even your language, your narratives has to be owned, right? Could put a copyright on it. What's she talking about? I should be the one telling them who they are, isn't it? So yes, That's what we find ourselves in. Ain't you proud of that? Ain't you really, really proud of that? In just a short while, how far we've come and how much we've come. You understand? Ain't you proud of that? I mean, I'm so like each time I tap my back when I drink my water and my African business, to be honest with you, I tap my back sometimes. I'm like, wow. Yeah, we do. We do it. We do it. So good. Fine. I can see all of you doing so well out here. And I know a lot of people see just thinking it's not real, it's not normal that we're live now. But of course we do. We're live now and we're streaming from, let me see how many platforms. Some are getting missing. We're streaming actually from 4. I want to know where you're watching me from. Which platforms are you watching? Are you watching me on Susan Tatah private account? Are you watching me on Panafrican Daily TV Facebook page or YouTube? Are you watching me on my normal account? Those are the accounts that we're connected to, because some are just not getting connected. So the more I know, the more we know where we can fix this, because we have a huge community following us on the Farmers of Thought. And he's going to be a speaker coming up this week or in the first weeks of November. Could you say we are under attack all the time? Can you believe that? I mean, you should be very, very relevant to be under attack at this time in life. Thank you, City. City say you're watching me from Facebook. My private Facebook page, City, or from Pan-African Daily TV. Mr. Clay say he's watching from YouTube. That's great. Greg, salute from the Gambia. Thank you so very much. How you doing, my Kunta Kintes? Greg, how you doing? Honestly, we're planning to do a show out there with you. It's gonna be a movement. It's gonna be a movement because most of our people are going to the Gambias, and we're gonna actually pay attention and watch over them, how they're faring out there, how everything is moving. I mean, we're all going back now to the continent in every segment, every sectors, and I just love the spirit. I mean, being on the continent for 4 months, there's barely been a time where I've not met somebody who's just like, oh, you're on the continent, I'm also on the continent. I mean, not the continent keepers. I mean, the continentals, that's okay, they're the ones that are the gatekeepers of the continent right now, okay, but they keep checking us out. They keep checking us out, like me, I'm born and raised in the continent, but it's like, okay, you're not from here. Following on Pan African Daily TV YouTube channel. Thank you, Miss Indigo. I appreciate you. Michael Alex, greetings. Alexei, where are you watching me from? I'm trying to fix. There's a lot that we're trying to fix here because most of our platforms have been disconnected unjustly, many of them. And we tried again, and we're building a lot. Each time they bring us down, we build. Each time these platforms go down, we build. That's what we're doing. Valerie Matthew say USA YouTube. Thank you. You're connecting. Matthias is, I'm a Gambian, but a resident in the Americas. That's fine. You're still a Gambian anyway. Because I'm watching you from Italy. Okay, from Lampedusa. We're actually from Italy. Thank you. Thank you. I see. Watching from the USA, our beautiful Queen F4 Tata. Just don't forget to put Nana F4, okay? I'll work hard to get that title of a Queen Mother of 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 their shanties, their saints. And please, you gotta put that title right on it. Queen Nana F4 Tata. I insist. All right, good. Fine. So what are we going to talk about? Mackenzie is telling me Venom is watching from the US. Which channel? On YouTube. Okay, I see. I see on YouTube. Wonderful. Sufficient. I'm watching from Pan-African Facebook page, and I'm watching from Liberia, West Africa. Thank you so very much. Of course, because we We want to start tracking records where our followers are coming. We just seeing that we have more than, millions watching us across. And sometimes that is very difficult because of the, I don't know, of the fact that we can access so many things here on YouTube. So it's difficult for us to actually track where our followers are watching from the comment. Yes, I know Alexis from Caribbean Commonwealth of Dominica. Thank you. Georgia, USA. Wonderful. So, of course, now in the past or 2021, most of, I think, pretty much 90% of our followers were watching us from the America, from US and Caribbean. Okay. It just switched as our YouTube channel has been disabled, and most of the streams that we go live are not shared. Content is not shared. And so South Africa is taking the lead now. So we have most of our viewers watching us from South Africa. The Gambians is also following from West Africa, and then East Africa too is coming up very strongly. So we want to get back um, our diasporans in the Americas and the Caribbeans back live. Just don't be discouraged in any format. We're here always, even sometimes when we're quiet in the background. We're working. We're working, and if you follow us on our community chats, you always see that we're posting a lot of deep facts there, pictures, images, captions, and that's a runner. That's a runner. I don't know how that was not disabled. I don't know how to do audible that one. Um, yeah, now please just get back to connect yourselves again. I mean, I love this here. Snovia say hi, Kofi, Zuma, Kwajo. I mean, Kojo, we really miss yourself so very much. I know me particularly, I'm sick, really sick if I'm not here. um so, like I can say, watch Pan-African Daily with Dr. Susan Tatah. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. um that's our theory. Sometimes it's not even just about the conversations that we hold. It's like we've come so far. We've come a long way. Like, we don't even need to do anything. Like, we just need to come here and just blah, 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 these things. Just connect, like, laugh, share. And that's good enough. But you know what? It's still annoying. Honestly, it's just still annoying to some. I don't know, to individuals who just think that we're not even supposed to show our noses out here. It's just being there, you know, vibing, in our kinkies, in our afros, putting out the big mega smile. It's disturbing. So it actually is not just about the content that we're really pouring out here. It's just a connection that worries people a lot. Peter Parker, watching from Barbados with comedy. Yes, honestly, I had planned this show yesterday, last night, but I couldn't go live for whatever reason. The lighting systems in the studio were really crappy. That's why you see me come live now. Normally, this is not our stream times, but I have to use the normal daylight. You see, it's not really perfect, but that's good. It's just good. I mean, yesterday was, you could not just, because I actually wanted to come and talk about this Hurricane Tammy that is just passing across. And I hope everything is well. Please, Peter, Mr. Parker, give us more information out there. Tell us what's happening there, because I haven't been able to lay my hands on that topic right now to find out. But I know our people are doing good, that we are covered. If you had set on your 12 lamb and it's ringing at that time, then you pretty much know that there's nothing to worry about. So if you haven't done it, just done it. Hey, Queens, Annette Edwards. Hi to my people. Hi. Salute you, Queen. Thank you so much, Queen Sue. I salute you. And guess who? Hey, big brothers in the house. Thank you so very much. You watching on YouTube and from the US, I see. Yes. The family is getting back together. But let me bring you some Imhotep Heru. Peace and blessings, family. Peace also to you. To you. We know your brother Imhotep also is currently, suffering, not just really suffering. He touched his feet on the grounds of Kenya and said, Nakopenda. I love you, Kenya, Africa. I'm here. Right? So yes, it's going down right out there with our brother Denise. And we wish you all the best. Do everything you want to do, run, watch, cross the rivers, just jump, just shout, Kenya, Nairobi. Our love, that's our love. That's the lovers place, right? In Africa. You want to enjoy good food, nightlife. I mean, every country in Africa is the same because we're one people. But some of the people are just, I don't know, it's another breed. I myself, I can't wait being going to Nairobi, Kenya, right? I cannot just wait. Mr. Bright, I want to hear from you. All right. I want to hear from you from the Caribbean, St. Kitts and Nevis. I hope the tornado, Temi is not coming around your areas. It's not. Bloodline is saying I'm watching you from South Africa and you're saying nothing. Of course, I'm saying something. And then sister, hey, Celeste Jeff. I'm happy. I'm happy about this. So much information that you keep pouring out there on Facebook and your page, with how our son is doing well. I mean, I love the pace type when he was, trying to massage and teach you that, Mom, I know everything. I was here before. Okay. Thank you, Celeste, for connecting and for joining us. I just love this family here, seeing the beautiful faces that we all created this mega dream together. Betty Jenkins, thank you. Greetings, family. Yes, your family is intact. I want to know, are there some informations happening in your community that we need to know? Welcome back to the diaspora, my African queen. Thank you. This is Professor Yuven Yonka and Mama Yuven. I salute you all in my backyard right here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to find out and to bring some information to what we're going to be talking about, but I don't want to get deep into, subject matters that you all have been watching on other platforms. But believe me, nobody has been able to chew that from an African perspective. People just harvest videos and just show them something that's going on. So that's why you see here, we're seeing the African perspectives on Israeli-Palestinian conflict since the 19th century till now. So join Pan African Daily TV with exclusive speakers. Maponga Joshua is going to give you, as you know, the way it is. He's going to be talking about the religious part of it that has kept this conflict so long. And we have Dr. Tony Jaja, who's going to be coming with his own perspective of Congo. And Al Wahab Farouk is going to be coming from a diplomatic concept, what he knows about the Palestinian-Israeli war and the impact this war has on Africa, right? Starting from its history. What do we know about it? So I'm going to give you, before we start getting our speakers to talk about it, not today, in the coming weeks to come, but I want you to prepare yourself and find enough information on this topic. How did it start? As a 19th century war. And I can remember when we were always in our history class, everything was always like, always like the Palestinian question would always come in our what foreign history test. It will. I mean, if there was one question that we always had to prepare for our GCE A levels, is the Palestinian questions, in European history. So till now, our children have been innate. Our grandchildren are already getting into it. So something is not adding up. Go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not really. I mean, it's a source where we can start from, and then we can argue. We can start from, and you would find some really profound statements why it was happening. The role of Britain again, UK. I mean, in the exploration and from time immemorial. Now UK is just so silent. The UK of today, I don't know, is more about Commonwealth nations and stuff like they even getting out of Brexit. Maybe they're back again. I don't know what the Europeans actually are doing. But the history is deep. So we would be shifting on the Pan African Daily into history and culture. Because I think what we're talking about narratives, changing, creating our stories, without a knowledge of your pre-colonial history, you can go nowhere. You don't even have a point to start, right? We've been talking about, people really going to the ancestral land. Yeah, Congo is your ancestral land. I mean, Dr. Tony Jaja would share his incredible experience when he set foot on that land, what happened. So you see, prophecies that have been prophesied way back by some African notables and scientists is coming to pass, and that's what he got into. And he was sharing it with me a lot in the past days. Like, Dr. Tata, I can't come, I can't wait to be live to break out what I discovered in the Congos. And he's saying every African has to go to Congo to be able to connect. And then we started questioning and just said, how we do wish people like Kofi Olomide, all this. We're just talking about this history. They stage in front of millions of people. If even in one of those concerts, they would just stop right in the middle of it and say, this is Congo yesterday and this is Congo today. I'm telling you, you would have been going so far with Congo, right? And so that's also another issue. Why do Africans not talk about or not research and add their voices on what their elders are telling them about pre-colonial African history? Africans on the continent. They're busy with any other thing, hustles, and enjoying, and half of the population doesn't actually know. Little things, just little things. Now we move up so far. And so that's some of the reason why, it's we still playing around, but play around for some times and get into your roots of knowing who you are. Your identity is very, very profound. And yes, it's very profound for us, for everyone, to understand where the Embo Kingdom lies and why the Embo Kingdom is the embryo on the continent, and why I had gave out a question here some time ago. We didn't come back to it. Why is Africa referred to as the Garden of Eden? Why is it referred to as the Garden of Eden? And why is it referred to as the continent of humankind? Not just mankind, humankind. We have to be very, very specific on words and terminology. That's what I was saying most of the time. A lot of words, we play around with them, but we don't really go to find out. But wait a minute, what is continent of mankind and continent of humankind? What is mother continent referred to what we know in the biblical terms as the Garden of Eden? I mean, I grew up knowing that the Garden of Eden was not on earth, people. I grew up knowing that Jerusalem was not on earth. I grew up in the church as a church faithful girl in the Presbyterian church, baptized, confirmed. Uh, it- it- I mean, started my choirs. Even when I landed in Germany, I still have that project, the Kumbaya Gospel Choir, going on. And for God's sake, I never knew that the Garden of Eden, this is what Africa is referred to. I knew the Garden of Eden. I don't even know what that was. It. I just thought it was some blue sky, something above the skies, right? And you would believe with me. I mean, we're once Christians or Christians. You would say it, even to even know about Rome. To be honest, when we stay in the church and we listen to the letters of Paul to the Romans, people, I never knew it's this Rome in Italy. As much as old as grown up that have been, each time when I in the church and we're reading those passages, it had never dawned to me that it is the Rome that we're speaking about. I don't know how many of you feel that. Egypt, same thing. Just some basic common knowledge that we don't even need to research. We don't need to be academics to know. We don't need to even go to school to know. I mean, Egypt It just suffices if you're a football fan, if you're a soccer fan, and you've been watching Egypt on the AFCON or on Cannes, whatever. They play so well. I mean, they play good football. When they meet Cameroon, that's when we know that we have a match going on. To be honest with you, when we are in the church and we're talking about Egypt, it sounds like another space. Like it's not this Egypt that you and me are watching. Their teams playing. Where this conflict is stemming from? Israel. People, tell me for 1 second if you ever had really thought that Israel, this Israel and Palestinian conflict, now you know when we're out of the church and we start talking about it. But when we are in the church and they say when the Egyptians, even River Nile, people, did you ever, as Africans, just know that River Nile is in Egypt? And so if River Nile is in Egypt, sharing boundaries with Sudan and Ethiopia, and I mean, these are countries that we hear every day. But an unconscious African, a Christian African, looking at it from biblical perspective, believe me, hey, you would never come to that understanding that is talking about you and the continent of Africa. These are small, small observations, very little things that has to do nothing with going to be a professor, going to be a historian, being an anthropologist, being a psychologist, but it's all growing up from on the continent of Africa. This has basically nothing to do with this knowledge. That's why when we're talking about changing the narratives and telling our own African stories, and you don't even know, and we don't even know that, I mean, this is spaces that we've been talking about all the time is sitting right here on the continent of Africa. It is magic how much we have lived in another space with our brains. How much we're comfortable when we sit and being entertained by stories about others about us. How much we're really comfortable about it. And we begin to believe and we accept. You understand? We dream of that vessel. So it's time. It's really just time now that while we begin to wake up from our slumber, from our deepest sleeps, to even understand that we were here thousands of years ago. My European brothers and sisters knew their own history long time ago. And that's why they keep celebrating their historical events, their renaissance, because they've always been conscious. But the only very few people among us that have been living in a space where with boundaries around us and not knowing that there are no boundaries. As a matter of fact, there's no wall. I mean, we you can cross a river, to Anambra State. You can cross from Nigeria, and you are in Cameroon, right? And that's just it. I don't know whether you're going to climb a fence or there's some stuff that will be hanging around you when you're moving in the south province. You're moving from Uganda, or from the east province, from Uganda, Burundi, Kenya, going down to the southern, whether you're from South Africa going to Cape, or you're going to Madagascar, or you're going to Seychelles. I don't know whether any person has been able to climb a fence and roll over to the other side. So, being conscious is a very unique aspect of who we are. And this consciousness, honestly, is just a simple little things around you that you can begin to question. You can begin to ask. Yes, telling our own Elder Ron Spears, I can't wait to have you again. Telling our own from our own African stories, how we experience it. You know, what is it that makes it this you? Hmm? When you visit, do you eat the local dishes or you go to international restaurants and still want a hummus and some fries? And if you don't know what you've been used to, you cannot. That is sad. That is being conscious and telling your own African stories, even right there on your plates. Now you're gonna be like, what is this here? This is chalaka. Chakalaka. When I heard this name first time, I'm like, are we in China? Like chakalaka is just like, cockroaches in German. Kakalaka. That's how it sounds. But chakalaka is a historic soup from South Africa. It's just called chakalaka, not kakalaka. You understand? But me, uh, until I had to research why that soup is called kakalaka because it's cockroaches in German. Then I begin to find out that that soup is just like the Haitian soup, pumpkin soup, where they celebrate the independence and our heroes and the sheroes out there. That's when I begin to understand. So even in your boat, in your plate of food, when you make a beautiful soup and you don't find the elements that identify you, you're not eating an African food from an African perspective and your stories. Now, when we talk about a healthy food, you can go to every platform and Google and do what are the healthy foods to keep fit, to keep slim, to to clean your liver from toxins and that. You honestly you see broccoli, you see I don't know what. And if I'm not growing broccoli in Africa as a fam, I don't know whether African and whether other broccolis would really identify with my own systems. You understand? So changing the narratives and telling our own African stories can be in any format. It can just be in the plate of soup you're eating. And you question yourself, have I put African ginger? Have I put turmeric from Africa? Have I put onions from the Cameroons from South and North? Have I put, a black pepper from Penja in Cameroon? That's the best in the world. I never even knew it. I just know from the aroma, but I never had to know why it tastes so different, right? Do I have a little bit of this kind of spices? And spices actually had a big meaning in our history. And we find out even why we were colonized and enslaved by the Italians and the others from Eastern European. It was spices. And even from India, China, Portuguese, and all this was spices. Honestly, now we do know that it has nothing to do with the exploration of Africa. Now, come on, people. We know that, I mean, a certain explorer by name that was just exploring. I mean, like, if it's us, they will say, oh, illegal migrants that were penetrating the borders right here. Okay. Brett is saying Temi is moving slow at 100 mph in the Caribbean islands. Here is St. Kitts and Nevis. We're waiting. It may stall as it approaches with scattered showers. All right. Um, that would be just showers of blessings and reminding us each time who we are and where we are and what needs to be done. Mr. Parker, you're welcome. I love you and love to see you here, Mbolo. Mbolo, my brother. Mbolo and Sunra Shaku, thank you so very much. Also, love to see you here again. Shaka, Shaku, Sunra. From the names, you can tell who is really, really conscious, honestly. Kimani. And the one good thing is these names are coming from us from the diaspora. They call us the descendants. Yeah. But in as much as I've been having these arguments on the continent each time I'm everywhere, when I've been in a taxi or on a motorbike. I've always said the custodians that have kept our history alive are us, the so-called African descendants. From our, we're the ones that truly know the history as we were fighting for our liberation and to be free, as we knew that we never belonged and that we were neither Europeans nor Americans nor but yes, or no British. I mean British Europeans, of course. So yes, um, that's just it. Thank you. Till next time, Slavia. Thank you so very much. And yeah, most of the time it has always been that people in Sudan are also suffering with war, but mainstream media only pay attention to Israel and Palestine. John Henry Clark and Kwame Ture told us Pan-Africanists perish. Or true, there's war everywhere, and this part of it has always been the conflict from this Israeli and Palestinian for the 19th century that has affected every order. Little breaks, cut up and chop up. We've been talking about that. We're drumming about all that happenings on the continent at every moment, anytime, Imhotep. But we have never, from an African perspective, dig into the causes of this Israeli-Palestinian war and why all of that each American president that comes on, we would this conflict would always come. It's an education, empowerment, and that we all evolve. Our Sudan war is part of it. It's part of the process. And we cannot be holding from the tail or from the top. You know, like my late dad used to say, if you want to catch or win a fight, don't just hold the neck and the tail. Right. So that's it. We're gonna be getting into that as well. Thank you. I know we all have missed Pat TV. Me too. But now we're connecting back. It's been a 4 months journey on the continent, and a lot of stories, a lot of documentaries, a lot of um, empowerment programs to share with us, a lot of information that we gathered on the ground, and to give you more reason why we should be going back home. Why, even if we're staying in a space, you understand truly who you are. Why, like I heard, I think I flipped up somebody who was talking about a company, he's from Cameroon or what, and how now, even on the continent, it doesn't really matter where your ancestry DNA is coming from. I talk to paramount chiefs, I talk to community leaders, I talk to lot of decision makers on the continent, and they're saying the same thing. It doesn't really matter now. I just did my ancestral DNA. It's good to know, but where you want to go on the continent doesn't play any role. You just have to hook up, get to know a lot, and get into the vibe with how you connect with people, how they respect you, how they accept you. It's not about my DNA, ancestral DNA, showing me I'm from this and this, and I have to force to belong there. Remember, all those DNA, we are connected all over. We're the Bantu people. And so imagine if the continentals would do a DNA and you were sitting and thinking, I'm a Cameroonian. And before I know, my roots are in Congo, they're in Liberia, they're in Nigeria, indigenous. They're part of Chadians, Malians, Senegalese, and whatever. Okay. So, yes, good and fine to know. I'm not against, but the continent, motherland is open for you to explore. Don't squeeze yourself just like my ancestry is coming from here. They're my people, sure, the Mandinka people, all those that. They are all our people. All of us are interconnected into these genes. And that's what makes us so unique. And I think it's the same thing with the Europeans as well. A white American comes from probably Austria and from wherever. And so that's how much our DNAs and we're deeply connected. What am I trying to say? I'm just trying to say, yes, in as much as most of us are so curious and very anxious to know our tribes, where we come from, our people, the Mandinka people, or where we all come from, but the original people and the pygmies, we do know that. And from there, all our roots are coming up to spread all over Africa. So it doesn't matter. Africa is so beautiful, huge, large, with endless opportunities to discover and to enjoy and to do business and to build communities. And that's the only continent that is not saturated. I keep telling you all the time. If you're living already in a space where it's already to develop, then probably there'll be no space, apart from the fact that we start multiplying the skyscrapers. But imagine a continent that you can still explore and do whatever thing you want to do. You can exercise your know-how, your talent. You can create, innovate. I don't know anything that we'll be creating out here that somebody else didn't do, or that somebody else is gonna look like. It's I was there. No, from the pygmies to the farmers, to the villagers, to the entrepreneurs, to the township, to people on the mountains. I don't see a difference, even you in the Caribbean. Those in the mountains, those in this at the seashores, those at the islands. When I went to Bimbi and Limbe, that's already another part of a production that we're going to bring out there to you. And, before I was conscious, I went to Jamaica and I was like, oh, it's like I just wanted to melt because my brain could not process. My brain was always like Jamaica is something else. You understand? I went to the Panama Islands in the Caribbean. It's the same. The way we laugh, the way we scream when we're speaking, the way we eat, the way we dance, the way we play around. I mean, the compound is always full. The many, many babies. The life that you hear, the noise, and then the rains, the tropical rains. I just feel like I was getting in everywhere and I was seeing myself everywhere. That's being African. That's coming from the continent. You feel belonging. You know it. When you're home among your people in the community where they are, you feel it. Nobody's need to tell you that. Nobody has to tell you that. So yes, it's the same thing in Bimbia Limbe. It's a coastal area. It's the islands. Of course, you have to understand why the islands is very profound to our history. All the enslaved that were captured and taken out, they needed the waters. How would they have shipped them? And so it was always in the borders where you find the waters. Now you find El Sima in the Ghana, or at the Goree Islands, or in Bimbia, Limbe, Cameroon. So it always had to do with where the shores are, and that's how exactly how they bundle us, and they also drop us in the islands because the ships would dock out there. So the biggest city that we start seeing now had basically very little. It's when we start freeing ourselves or during the freedom movement, historical period where people now start to expand, and then those that were free the cities and stuff like that. At the end of the day, it is the same thing. When you go to Limbe at Down Beach Limbe, you're gonna think that you are in Jamaica or in Panama or in St. Martin Islands or in the Barbados. And I've been there, but I haven't been there. It's the same thing. Detroit D Town, you can be on the show. If you want to be on the show, we need to program you on the show and the topic. But you can also be on the show right now. Do you want me to send you a link? It's just that I'm ending this show actually in the next couple of 10-20 minutes. So, but tomorrow we can schedule you. All you need to do is um, if you are not in our WhatsApp groups, then you need to send an email to panafricandailytv@gmail.com and you'll be a guest on. That's how easy it is. We have said it from the beginning. Mr. Parker, all of you, it's Novia, Sonra, Shakur, Imhotep, Ron Spears. We made it a commitment. Pan African Daily is a house. Like any house in the village you go on the continent. You don't need, of course, you just walk into the compound and find out who's here. Anybody in the compound? And definitely you'll find somebody in the compound. You find children. You find chickens. You find a duck that when you're moving into the it starts to what, trying to smell you, trying to feel you. You find goats. There's always something in the African compound, particularly in the royal. That's why we love our village. And that's why the Pan African Daily is the village. We the village people. I'm the village girl. You know it. And so we make it so easy to access and be a guest, not a guest, and be a part of the family. Detroit D Town, are you right here with me? It's so easy to access us. You don't need to pay a fee to be on the Pan African Daily TV. That's how generous we are. That's how family we are. But of course, we know a lot of those that are not even coming on the show are the ones that are actually supporting us to keep the Pan African Daily TV family and community growing up. Ayoka Efua, you are here? Okay. Wow. Oh, name. It's so good to see you back here. It's so good to see us, the A4s, the Friday ones. Wow, I begin to feel my spirit come back. I begin to feel alive in my bones again as I see my family and my tribe gathering all around here um, to welcome our village space again. But you know one thing, we have been rated as the most beautiful community on YouTube. This community, come on, I've never. If we had to start doing our DNAs, and like I said, we're already building our communities. The Pan African Daily TV community is already one of that. What's acting on this green screen thing here? Hold on, please, a second. I gotta create something very fast here. That's why you see all this. Good. All right. It's much better now, I think. Building the community, building our communities, our villages takes a spirit, takes the same people with the same ideas, with the same vibration, with the same mindset, with the same language to build a community and a village. That's why you hear we always say it takes a community or village to raise a child on the continent. And I had some very, very incredible best moments with my mom during these four months on the continent. And she was telling me all those things that they needed to build an incredible community and village lifestyle. And I'll be sharing all that with you. For those of you who want to learn or who are interested, yes, I'm not going to bring that and dumping on you, but you have to subscribe to get, or we do special sessions with that. Yeah. Thank you, Ayoka. Yes, we're one family. So before I end up this broadcast, I just want to say the purpose. There's been a lot going on at home and abroad. But now we're getting into the very critical times um, in the Gregorian calendar year. And this is a time where people are beginning to reflect on their past. When I say past, like, what did I do in 2023? What was good for me? What didn't work out for me? What worked out for me? How am I going to improve? What would I do better? Um, this is also happening to us on the Pan-African Daily. But as we speak right now, you see my images are blurring because it's almost getting darker. Like I said, I was using the sunlight. And so don't worry about that anyway. Just get the message. What I was saying is this. It is almost the end of the year, and a lot of things have happened in our families, in our communities, on the Pan African Daily TV too. We all heard about Baba Smalls was ill, down, um, being operated upon. The first time we had was the knee. He survived it. Everything was good. Made a pilgrimage to Ghana with a group of almost 30 people. And I think that's actually that was hard, that journey. That could be one of the reasons actually why this sickness had to hit him again. Because I know, me being on the continent, I came back, you needed to have seen me. Right? You need to see my images on the continent. You have to just drain out. There's a lot of enjoyment on the continent if you want to get into every shoes. You come back feeling like you were truly enjoying, but as a matter of fact, you were burned out. Okay, so um, I've been speaking to Baba James, to Professor James. He's out of the hospital, he's at home, and he shares incredible thanks with you because we belong to this tribe and to this community. I'm bringing it out to you because I had a conversation with him yesterday, and he actually asked me to give you this message. First thing, he is so thankful that he got up from the operation and he's home in a very short time, but then he has to undergo another process again in the upcoming days. And yeah, so then I asked Baba, what can we do? Of course, I know, but I asked, people make wishes. You have to make a wish. Like I said, the end of the year is coming, and we're going to be challenged by ourselves by making a wish. And so the first thing you want to ask is, what do I want? To be able to get into the space and that process where you need, if you need support, then you have to call your tribe. And one thing I learned in our African indigenous community was you had to invite the elders. They don't come on their own. It's a sign of recognition, but we see it every day today. And that's why even in the Christians, they say, if you don't ask, you don't receive. So it's a matter of not shying away, being on the spot if you are in need. We know about in need of prayers. I'm standing in need of prayers and I need my community to back me up. Professor James Small, Baba James, needs us. He needs his village, his tribe, his community to stand with him. And I asked Baba, what specifically do you want from us? And he said, your love is all I need. Your love is all I need. So yes, remember Baba Smalls, Professor James Small, at every moment in your life. Just send him the energy. When your clock rings at 12:12, say a wish, make a wish. I'll be having Professor Baina Bello, Mama Bello of Haiti, when she comes back on her trip from Uganda. And she's going to teach us some basic steps, how we do in our culture, in our voodoo culture, when we call upon our spirit as one, when we need, when we're standing in a need. Health is a spiritual need. It's not a physical one, because your body can be tormented. The flesh is gonna be, it's just a borrowed material piece. But the essential is the soul in us, the Ubuntu in us. And right now, Professor James says greetings, thanks for every good thing, for every prayers. I mean, if you went to Professor James' small page where he posted, before we were already sharing, he posted again the next day. I'm like, come on, don't sweat it. I'm home. That's Professor James. That's how our leaders are. That's how our elders are, even when they suffer. That's why you need to pay close attention on them. This is why we need to surround them with every little thing that is called prayers, meditation, songs, pouring out, saying out and speaking and calling on the you, the divine, to be in our tribe. It needs an action. But we know I have a brother in Jamaica that has been in jail for long, and we communicate from them for the past 3 years. And everything he always tells me is, I just need the love and that you remember me. So we're going to be remembering all our people. It's not only Professor James Moore is going to be like the door opener, the angel that is standing at the door and through which we have to process to get to every of our people in need. It is a time to do that. October ending, November, and then the end of the calendar year in which we are. It's always a time to pull back, to meditate, to call on our tribes, to be grateful, to be thankful, to be just be there, to reflect, just pull back, take a minute off when you wake up and when you go down, when the sun shines on you, when the cock crows, when your alarm is ringing. That's your cock crowing and reminding you. So please do so well in your individual space from your deepest of yourself to bring out the light. And we will see our elders coming back. And sometimes we need it. Sometimes we need to be down. We're too strong, too unbroken. Sometimes we need to break. That's one of the powers being a human. And most of that hours, our books are telling us that we haven't used even 5% on it when we live on the universe. When we interact among mankind, we haven't used even 5% of that energy to recreate and put a light, a spot on us, to decree, to call upon how you want it to be. So please, regardless of us just pulling back now and enjoying and Baba Smalls, he would have been here with us, you know him, would have jumped here. I said, no, Baba, take your time. All right? So please, we're calling on all of us in the universe that we remember the Most High, creator of our ancestors, that we remember Professor James Moore. Send him love and blessings. Pour water. Call his name. Watch his shows on Panafrican Daily. Smile at him. Those of you who want to call, of course, he needs a lot of rest now, going through what he's going. I asked, is it possible? But I'll get the answer this week and I'll bring it on this week's show. If it's possible that you can call and talk to him and to his family, right? They'll be really grateful. Like he's down. Come on, it's not like I'm like sharing a story that he told you to not just even close to fade out, but we need to accompany him. We need to be with him in that space. Thank you, Faye, Abdul, Abdullah. Divine healing from the sun, air, soft rains, rest simultaneously by hard rains and clouds. Asher, Bayete. Absolute. Thank you, David. Yeah, we are there. And as a time that we have to reconcile, refresh. Marsha Lawrence, thank you. Thank you for sharing the information about the stamps with us. You say it's time to restore, reconcile, refresh, remember, and reflect. So profound indeed. On the Pan African Daily, we don't want to be caught up in our daily chores and activities that we forget about the essentials and the basics of why we're here. On the Pan African Daily, we just want to mind our business, drink water, and most of the time take care of who we are as a family and a tribe. Thank you so very much. So we have to continue to do just that. And we know that's the one thing I want you to understand. We know if you did not remember, we know that we are the first one with the creation and the creator, and that we are one with ourselves, and that we are one with the universe, and that we are one with another. That's the first frequencies from Reverend Dr. Shak Matthews. He's spent a lot with us for us to understand, for us to know that these principles work. So when we are standing in a need, we know where to direct our prayers, our libations, spoken words. And now we don't want to get into why did Africans use spoken words in poetry? Spoken poetry today, we just talk about it, we write books, and we do the things that truly are indigenous African things are not commercial, honestly speaking, because you would have to do a research to write these things, and then at the end of the day, every principle and thoughts and everything is coming out with something else. But the truth is this. These were incantations of our ancestors, spoken words, speaking healing, speaking power, talking to the co-creators as co-creators of the universe. And there was no way something like they were writing down books about today's spoken history. It's like it's an art of entertainment and creation and manifestation, because it's one part of us. But honestly speaking, these are the moments that we use it. This is the real time to command, to recreate, to call upon what you need for your tribe and your souls and your community and your loved ones and your families. It's not only physical. Most often it is just in the non-physical, because you understand that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So most of the things that work actually for us is in the spirit, and that we experience it in the physical. Man, I sound like a preacher. I really sound now. Yes, Brother Tena is saying the oral tradition were before the written words. That's it. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what the spirits is saying. We were before the physical. And if we have to go back, we have to go back into the spiritual. And that's why most of the spiritual libations, healing and the energy and the transformation and the reconciliation are done in the spiritual world. That's why when something breaks, it breaks before the physical is just manifesting, but it had been done centuries back. So that's the time when we use this power of spoken words. It's not just spoken words that we send on the microphone now. I just do spoken word and people clap, and there's no power in it. That's entertainment. That's okay. That's fine. Probably I have nothing with it. But I'm now saying when it is the right time now that we use it, it is this time. This time when we are in need of each other. This time when without me, I can function without you. This time when definitely I can shout and call upon someone and someone would hear me, will not be busy doing other things. At this time when the drums in Congo to Cape Town to Nairobi would sound, we would hear somehow. When someone would be crying in a need somewhere, it will tell you in the spirit. And you can send that healing through your spoken words and you can recreate. How did we lose this power? How? What happened? Where did we lose it? How did we lose it? So the warrior, you're welcome. Time to free Congo. Mm-hmm. Wait, I was about to show this comment, not you. Time to free Congo. It's breaking my heart the suffering of our people face in daily basis. Before you join us, Khalid, Lawal, we were just saying it on Digital Nomad, like time to use that power. It's not enough. It's not enough to just break your heart. It's not enough to say we're sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's a time of creation. Remember, we passed the time of connecting. We're now in the third series. 2020, 2021, 2022, 2024. What am I even talking about? 2024 is coming. So it's going to be the fourth. So we're in the third series. The first opportunity that was given upon us was to meet, reconcile, to know yourselves. We did. 2020, we started coming up and we were like, oh, we're so grateful. Oh, we are connecting for the first time. Oh, we didn't even know. Oh, Panafrican Daily. Oh, this, and that. And we thought it was a mistake or it was COVID that is acting that we should. Oh, it was just a time. But it was 400 years after. It was 2020. I mean, those of our experts that are numerologists, they'd already taught us all these things. And we heard it. That was 2020. Anything that was not meant to be was meant to break. Simple. Even things that were meant to be but were not in the proper places were meant to fall. That's when exactly Chinua Achebe's theory of when the center no longer holds, everything falls apart. 2020, the center of the world no longer held and things fell apart. But for us particularly, as Africans, our miseducation, our foolishness, our ignorance, our disobedience, okay, our inability to listen and to trust the process, it became so much and the center could no longer hold. And we fell apart. Everything fell apart. So we have to be clear on it. 2021, we were still finding ourselves. I'm talking to this tribe here, to this community. We were still finding ourselves in 2021. A lot of things were just happening. Things were just going around the world. We were evolving, still finding ourselves. After connecting, after getting to know one another, now we were confused. To just 2021 was a lot of confusion, but we stood our grounds and we opened our doors. We opened our heart, and the people that belong to the tribes start coming in, finding the way back home to connect to each other. 2022, we became a little bit stable, but not yet. Now, all the confusion was also like, now I know, what am I going to do? And then we saw a lot YouTubers, content creators, being African, Pan-Africanism, stories were popping out left, center, right. Everybody was finding his space. Where do I belong? Those that were still finding it, those that were still actually trying to reconcile to the fact, a lot of people were coming together, the good, the bad, and the evil. And a lot also come together. And then later on, 2023, where we are now, is the best phase. The best phase because now we start discovering who we are, but not only who we are, but where we belong. We've studied each other, the house, the community, the individuals. We've gone through, we've quarreled with one another, we've disagreed, we've misunderstood. That's how it happens. In every world, when people have been disconnected for thousands of years, I mean, we are even superhuman beings. Come on, give me a break. When people have been torn apart, miseducated for thousands of years, why do you think when they meet for 1, 2, 3 years, everything is just going to go back to normal? Like, we'll just be like, oh, Annie, I know you. No, Black Silence, I also know you. Alexis, I know you. You know, Kojo, Enes, Soto, I mean, Brett, I know you. We test the waters first. We were given a lot of duties to do, to connect, to be patient, to show how loyal, how faithful we are to our mission, to our calling, to our transformation. It's learn to let they all leave, to learn to metamorphose into a new you. We must have to give up a lot. We said it thousands of times on the show, that we know that it will be difficult for us to give up a lot, to give up the old, to give up even the way we were thinking, the way we were talking, the way we manifested, and to even accept this new you would have been a challenge. It's not something that just happens. But thank God, the Most High, the God of our ancestors and the ancestors that are keeping us, watching us, being patient with us, following us, and humanity also compensating us to say, lick your old wounds, but you'll be okay. Cry as much as you can, you'll be okay. Lose as much as you can, but you'll be okay, because I'm here with you. Standing here with you. All right. So a lot happened. Most of us that were jumping into businesses, like Mr. Parker is saying, most of us that were like, oh, everything was just like coming from the Eurocentric point of selling Africa. Oh, there are endless opportunities. Or you can do business on the continent, or you can go and travel and see the jungles, or you can. And we begin to find ourselves like tourists on our mother's land. And we begin to look for those things that would be a motivation that would connect us both. But if we look at the Ron Spears, we look at the Baba Jeffries and the Leonard Jeffries, we look at the Professor James Small, we look at the Malcolm X, we look at the Martin Luther King, we look at all going back into history on what they were and the values that they stood for. And the Pan-African voices and leaders of our time stood for one thing only. They only stood for you, just understanding who you are. They only stood for love. They only stood for breaking some curses. Let me put it that way. And so that is it. That's the point. And they taught us to be patient with ourselves as we metamorphose. They taught us to go slowly. They taught us not just to fly, just to jump and to run. You're going to hit hard. You're going to, hit at the wall where you need to come back now. So they've been holding space for us, our forefathers and our foremothers. They've been standing there waiting. And they're still there. That's why I love 2023. 2023, my people, if something has not died in you, and something new is coming up that you feel it. You feel the change in you as an African. You rediscovering your Africanness. Like Professor James Moore, when we talk, we laugh a lot. And I say, Baba, you know what? You're just peeling off. And he laughed and said, how many times am I going to peel off and at what age? I say, it doesn't matter. But I see that, yes, we are. You are peeling off. Because one thing Dr. Elaine taught us on the Pan-African Daily is that we don't age. We only metamorphose in this generation. A lot of people are always say, Africans, when you ask them their ages, they never tell you. Of course, because we don't age. Because the knowledge of science has brought you to the space that even if I was given my age today, it is that age that I was given when I was born. What about creation? Okay, but we know from our footprints and the works that we've done. If you look at my projects, for instance, you will know my age. I mean, you will know the longevity, the historical time. You will know that a woman that have gone through, that have been through, that have done through this cannot be 30 calendar-wise. So it's okay, it's fine. Don't tell your ages to anybody because you're as old as you think and what you create and what you're leaving behind. Don't be ashamed and don't be shy to say yes. And I go back to my grade one here. Ron Spears say the power of the spoken word can heal our past and present trauma while sending out a love vibration for our future. Ashe. Yes. It's not more about entertainment. It's a more of when do you use the spoken word? We're going to be discussing that with Elder Ron Spears here. When do we use it? When do we use it? When do we use that power? Because the only thing that we've not been doing as Africans, to my understanding, is using the power. We say, I believe I can fly, but we don't fly. We say, I'm strong, I'm able, I can, but we don't. So the next step in 2023, going into 2024, is that, yes, I do it. So we stand in the need. We use our words carefully so that it don't become a sing-song and become an entertainment. So it becomes when I need it, I punch it out. Like our brothers and sisters that are going through the hurricanes, all our families and loved ones that are left behind on the continent, and those that just need us, that we don't know, whether they're going through wars, whether they're going through all sorts of challenges, at whatever point in your moment, whether you're facing a situation and you need to talk to someone, We talked about all this in the Pan-African Daily. Should we put a hotline? And that's why we came to 1212 and said all these theories about our powers are not done in the physical. As Africans, we're spiritual. Those are the teachings of our ancestors. How they used to conjure and things would happen was not in the physical. And that's why it's so difficult to see through documentaries on it, and we begin to feel like, oh, of course, we never did anything. No, we did so much, so much. But it was in the spiritual. And so we need to go back to that knowledge and that power that we can use. I want to thank all of you. Another breaking point is King Maponga Joshua. I already told you that we're going to get a series. We're starting on, in as much as everything, I'm waiting for my studio light. As you can see, this one's, I'm just using the normal, natural daylight, which is very good, which is fine for us. But I know a lot of people, and not actually with this timing now, should be, respecting our stream times that we usually do. And so I'm waiting for my stream. I had to order other ones very fast because we can wait the missing luggages in Istanbul or whatever they're playing out there. No, we don't have time to wait. So they might be coming in next week, and we'll start streaming on our daily shows and getting guests on. And we're going to move to very, very interesting stuff. Okay. So if you want to be a guest, you want to join the family and share your own story and your point of view, or you have very, very all the things that you new things, like I said, new things are going to happen to us. We want to already, we see into the future through our eyes of our spirits, what 2024 and even the next 30 years is going to be. Those are things that we want to start discussing about them. The past would always be with us here, but the future is what we can handle. All right. Like the past was what we left, but now we can define how we want it and what we want it. And that's the ice cream. That's the magic. And I like the way you're connecting here. So Professor James, we love you. Professor James, you are the spirit and the backbones in this space. Professor James, you're the voice of our ancestors from the past, in the present, to the future. Just like you told us, it's not your time, and we do know it. And in this whole community, on the behalf of everyone that is watching me from every platforms, I stand in front of you to say, Baba, it's well. It is okay. We love you so much. And we can't wait to see you as soon as possible here. You've left us so much that we can watch every day on the Pan-African Daily. Just put even the one that we ping, we are all Africans. It's a whole gospel for decades and generations upon generations to come. If you haven't watched that beautiful piece, go to Pan-African Daily TV where you're watching me right now, and we pin it there. It is because we hear you all the time, Baba. We connect to you. You're watching us right now. And in this space, we know only truth. We know only unity and love. We know only one love for Africans at home and abroad. We don't know any other thing. We don't even know how to manipulate. We don't even know how to quarrel here. In this space, in this village, in this compound, we only talk about the good about ourselves. We're open to learn. We have nothing to regret. We're not bitter about anything. We're just mining our space and sharing our stories. And you've been one of that pioneer teacher elder, father, the one unique living among all your peers and your siblings in this tribe that has been constantly pouring us the truth as it should be. So, Baba, I stand on this place to say it is well with you, that everything is okay, that you're going to go through that journey of healing, and I will be seeing us you here anytime soon. Ashe, Ayete, Miaka, Njika, tuko pamoja, Ingeta, Payete. Thank you. Thank you for the energy. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Thank you for backing me up. I couldn't do it alone. I couldn't without you. Okay. Yes. Enough respect for you people. So good. This week on Pan-African Day, I'm not really sure. I thought I should have had Dr. Tony Jaja tomorrow because he's time and he's right in the Congos and he wanted to actually share some testimonies on the ground with us, some prophecies that were being poured by dignitaries out there way back, and he stumbled onto one of these royals, and he did like to share that with us. If we would have to do that show, then it has to be around this period where you saw me came live, because like I said, we'll not be having late night or 2 p.m. shows for Eastern Standard Time because of the lighting capabilities in the studio. We're going to start doing that as from next week, Thursday or Friday. But watch out, we might suddenly, like I said, unannounced. But this is burning. You have seen, we've posted Maponga Joshua out there in the fields and coming out with a mega movie. I love the comments when I posted his new, makeups, and people are like, "Are you aging and leaving us here?" Yeah, and this movie is gonna come up. It's gonna be I don't know what we've been anticipating for long. So yes, it's gonna be. I don't know. I don't want to use some of those terms that we just use out here these days. So I always find something to really talk about. Is us. But watch out. The movie with King Maponga Joshua is currently being shot. That's why he was in um, Uganda, and we found a team of volunteers, African Americans, Caribbeans, that just moved up there and said, "You've been speaking a lot, you've been pouring a lot, and we should put this on a recording for our kids and our children." And I can't wait. We're gonna be having the team here that is shooting that movie, and actually, I ought to have had him here today. Like I said, oh, like I said, our lightings are not in place, so we would do that. I would have to shift it some other time. Thank you, bless you too. But he will be live with us, and his topic is not going to be about the movie. It's going to be about the African perspective on the current crisis in the Middle East. Yeah, and its impact for thousands of years on the people of Africa. So we also going to be having different perspective. You can already see it running out there on a screen, and so you do pay out. We're also going to have Professor Jumaine, who has also been making very incredible experiences on the continent. And I didn't even know he was in Cameroon when I was in Cameroon, and giving lectures at universities, Pan-African universities. He was there, and until one day I just heard him on the radio in Cameroon. I was like, "Oh, Professor Jumaine, I know him. He's a family member on Pan African Daily," and he was so excited when I showed up. Okay, so yes, we are doing, John Daniels, all of us, we're doing an incredible job. I mean, Dr. Tata can't do anything on her own without this tribe and this family here, without this big, what Snowy calls movement. It's a movement, okay? So yes, that's what we're going to expect to have on Pan African Daily this coming weeks and getting into November. November is very promising. I think November we're gonna definitely be having a daily show again. And if you, John Daniels, all of you, like I said, Pan African Daily is an open platform for African voices at home and abroad and everywhere on earth. You feel like being a part of the program. You want to be live on the Pan African Daily. You want to host a program on Pan African Daily, like host your own daily programs on Pan African Daily. We are open for everything from the word go. We've been doing it. And of course, I cannot forget our young executives on the media, Pan African media, under the leadership of our brother Lawrence, Marshall Lawrence from the Caribbeans, St. Martin's, Dominican, pardon me, please, um, that would actually be coming and briefing us on what the young people are doing. We're also going to have young people that are coming up with their own shows. These are all things that we were doing on the background, but also the journey in Cameroon, Bimbia, is going to be like a Pan African Daily TV series because it's too much information there to just put on a 1 hour, 2 hour show. So we want to break it into a series where you really can watch actually to understand that most of us in Haiti, in the Caribbean, in America, we actually pass through Bimbia, Cameroon. But why is no one talking about it as the door of no return, Cameroon? So yes, that's how Pan African Daily TV is going to look like in the months of November and December. hmm, I actually know. I don't know how December is gonna look like. We'll be doing a lot. We'll be doing a lot. But I want to see more voices coming up. I want to see more engagement from the communities. We've been here together and doing a lot of things. I want to sit back, relax, and hear and watch you and listen to you. Kofi, you too. Okay. So please, if it is uh what is it that you need to host your own Pan African stories? Pan African Daily, let me know in the comment. Send an email to panafricandailytv.com. I know uh, 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 we we've been on off, which is very normal. I just gave you the timeline, the history, the timeline, 2020 up to this time here, and there's no wonder that you see us coming like that. But like I said, please make it a point of duty, create your own shows, your own stories. We want to know how your communities are federating. We want to hear from our communities worldwide. So be a volunteer, be a volunteer. I told you, be a volunteer. Let me speak like like Madea. Be a volunteer. Okay. Be a volunteer. What does that mean? Be a volunteer means you host your own community shows on the Pan African Daily, but you know what we're speaking about here. You know, just come, even if it's a comedy show, we need all those talent. Tell us, send us your program, how it looks like. We're going to go on the executive teams with our women and the youth, and we look at what is done, what is not done on the Pan African Daily. We speak only about us, from us to us, and our stories from us to us. Okay. If you have a story, whether it's a comedy, whether it's a poetry, what is a book club, we have all expressed all those concerns. We've seen all of you express these concerns here before. Um, and so it's the time now. The time is ripe for you to host this. Whether you want to represent your people in your community and what they do, we'll look forward. We'll be very happy and gracious to have you. If you're coming to host your own guests and bring your own, like not only you being on the show, but to host and bring in guests, we're open. We want to hear from you. We want to all be active and build the Africa we want. So I thank you so very much for being so patient. and for welcoming me back unannounced, of course. Woo! Peace and blessings, my queen. Where are you now? The last time I checked, you were in Uganda on the continent. Where are you actually now? Some things are not going to be said out right here, but of course you can. You can text us, and we're gonna be knowing where you are. Kwame, salute, greetings. So yes, we need presenters on the Pan African Daily. I've been saying it again. And if you also think you can be a presenter but you don't know how, I can help you. I will help show you how to speak in front of the camera and just share your opinion. You can also read for those of you who just think, oh, I'm not able, because we're all able. We're all able, okay? Yes, I'm well named. But, oh, you're talking to Ayoka. Yes, so thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like you see, the studio is fading out and the images are already, it's getting dark out. And so we cannot benefit again from our natural light. We will be coming up programs, my own programs. I will share my flyers with you. Like there's a program coming, Ask Dr. Tata, and there's another one, Talk to Annie F4. Those are going to be my own programs, and then hosting guests for interviews or whatever. But then you can put your own programs with your own flyers, and tell us your times where you will need, and we give you access, and you're going to be doing exactly what I'm doing, and I'm going to be sitting and watching and asking questions and commenting. And this way we'd be all very, very powerful platform that is open for everybody. I mean, we want to hear people volunteering to be to speak on their communities. I'm also going to be representing African voices in Europe and in Germany, particularly, and because that's the community I grew up in. And all the young people are going to be coming up and talking about their communities and how they're faring up. We have enough capacity, honestly speaking. We have huge capacity to host your programs on Pan African Daily, and it's on our server, okay, on our private server. So please make sure that you're volunteering, okay. And the next thing is we're going to be having a lot of feedback shows on those that relocated, those that travel on the continent, how they're feeling, all the experiences that they've had there, which countries they were going to, where they settled down. So that feedback show is going to be an open show where anybody can host, ask questions. We're going to be getting in-house calls like we did. We're going to be having okay, you have an idea for a show. Thank you. Just drop it in at panafricandailytv.com on our Gmail account. We would get that. Put the format of your show. We are maximum 2 hour show. That's very good for us because we're not entertaining. We are educating, empowering, and together we all evolve. Those are our slogans. And African Voices by Africans Worldwide. So you have a story to share. Apart from that, there will be individuals that will be representing their communities, whether you're in the Caribbean or Jamaica, wherever you are in China, India, Malaysia, and you want to be a correspondent. Yes, we would love to have you host your own shows on the Pan African Daily. You see, that's the magic that we have here because we created something for us and by us and with us. Okay, every voice matters. Every voice matters. We are all prophetic, all. And I think that's what our elders want to see us take over. We want to see the young people come up. Doesn't matter, you're not going to make any mistakes. Even when you make mistakes, it's in our compound. Nobody's going to judge you here. All right. So I want to see more young people. I know a lot of you have been anxious reaching out. It's very easy for you to stream live on the Pan African Daily. I just do what I do now, share a link with you, and I leave the studio and you carry on with your show. Pick your questions and answers, host your guests as you want it. Okay. So let me hear from you. And we're also looking for sponsors as usual, those that are going to be the main Pan-African Daily TV entrepreneurs, investors, and not just a matter of support, but really being there and say, here I am, here I am. I want to be a part. Tell me how much I can put in. It's not limited. Okay. So yes, why do you need to sponsor? We'll be sharing that very soon with you. You need to sponsor because we'll be more in the fields, doing documentaries, talking to people in our communities. Like the show that I'll be launching very soon is the African Voices in Germany and Europe. But we're going to first of all start with Germany because that's where our history starts. Berlin, 1884. Never forget. No, never forget, right? So yes, we have a lot to share. For those of you who cannot travel to Germany, we're going to show you spaces. We be at those places where history was made, and also not just that, but also to share perspective from this other side. Reparations is always on the show, and thank you, sister. And of course, you see, when you come with your project and you're hosting your show, it means you have something to offer. You really have something to offer. Like you can then promote your shows. I've been doing it for the past 3 years, promoting your shows, calling you to come here, give a voice, and speak something to the people. And then we rally and we hit your subscription on and push your subscription on your YouTube channels and stuff like that. No, you have to come here, host your show, advertise yourself, and showcase what you can do. All right. So thank you very much. As I fade. I want to thank you and salute you for being on this show tonight. And we see ourselves, like I said, if Dr. Tony Jaja is going to be on live tomorrow, I'll hit you up. We're also recreating our users on WhatsApp group. I mean, the old ones would just stay there. Most of them have been mixed up and they just pouring junk in something. But I'll be creating new WhatsApp group for Pan-African Daily speakers, TV speakers, comedians, entertainers. Why not? We have a lot of shows, artists that want to stage live here on Pan African Daily. So much people that have so much talent, and we need to. We need to. So you're an artist, you're a poet, you're a book reader, anything that is all in our DNA. We're gonna be doing it on Pan African Daily. I just need to know when you want to come live. What is your show about? So we can see, introduce you, and then we move. Okay. So I thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Reparations. Thank you so much, my queen sister. And any news coming out there? I'm glad we're still retaining Baba Maponga, Baba Kofi Amposa, and Mama Rosaline Jeffries. Of course, we return everybody. Right here in the chat, we have our elder Ron Spears, Reverend Shock, all are there. We even, I mean, where would they go to? That's their house. We can only maybe include new ones that are coming, but I'm saying hosting a show, Kwame, host your own show, like doing what I'm doing, not just hosting them. That I would do. That's my duty to do, to host our elders and prominent and very, very special, exclusive shows. That I do. But I'm talking about you building your own shows and coming live and in your communities. Tell us how your community is going, the politics in the culture, the economics, opportunities in your country. We have how many countries? We need to be represented here by every country, okay? And those in the diaspora. So thank you so much. And it's time to go. We say good night to you.
You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.
Wonderful. Why is this not coming up? Something really happened. Like they stopped showing our. Oh wow. Okay, but we're still gonna get it. All right.